She wasn't. Hi guys, Happy New Year! Yay. 2026 is upon us, has gotten started. So wanted to have our first meeting of the year to sort of set the mood for the rest of the year, start planning, to thank you guys for an incredible year last year. I know there was a lot of changes, a lot of stuff going on, but we got through it, we survived, came out at the other end, and now we can hit the ground running with all of our new goals, fresh starts, moving forward, and we're gonna come up with those goals and ideas and everything together. First and foremost, want to welcome our newest member, Drea. Drea is the official director of clinical operations. And so she is going to be leading the team up front in terms of operations, overall workflows and systems. She's going to operate and oversee the day-to-day of the clinic, the patient flow, growth, and front desk management and systems. She's going to be in charge of patient satisfaction and client experience. And so right now, Drea is working on getting all of our, numbers intact, our patients returning. We lost a, bunch of patients, which is normal over the holidays. She's reaching out to them, trying to, see how they are, what they're up to. And one of the ways she's doing it is she's looking at the schedule to see who canceled and didn't reschedule, who didn't schedule any more follow-ups. So it's really important that you guys update your active patient reports, because she's cross-referencing it to your active patient reports. So if she sees a patient doesn't have any more appointments scheduled, she's going to, before calling them or reaching out to them, she's going to look at your active patient report to see if you've already reached out to them and if they've given a valid response, like they're discharged or they're done or they're traveling for the next 3 months or they're having surgery. She's obviously not going to reach out to them, but if you've tried to reach out to them and we've not gotten a response, then Drea is stepping in and being that next line of communication with the patient to really improve our overall client experience with them, okay? So make sure your active patient reports are up to date as much as possible on a weekly basis so that we're not double dipping in terms of calling the patient and bothering them when they've already told us what their issue is. It's really important that when you set the evaluation right after, immediately put them on your report so she knows who's active and who's not, okay? So welcome, Drea.
Thank you.
So we have a lot to work on for 2026. One of the first things that I'm going to make an official announcement now, but a lot of you guys have already heard rumors. Location number 2 is a definite. So
Where was I?
everyone except Cheryl. The whole meeting. You heard battling knives or something.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
So the lease has been signed, it's ours, it's 100% in the works, which makes me very nauseous. It's on 101st and Broadway. It is going to be just Mika's physical therapy, not the gym portion, so it's just gonna be exercise equipment and beds and treatment and solely PT. It's about 2,500 square feet, so fairly large. So picture this room times 2. But again, just treatment, tables and equipment. We'll have 2 private treatment rooms already built in, not after the fact. And it's on the ground level. So, meaning street level, so it's all windows, so we will see what the weather is, what time of day it is, on a live basis, which for me, this will be a first. my entire career, with the exception of my first job, but I still was underground, but there was windows. I've never been on street level, so I've never seen the outside world while working as a PT. So that's what's super exciting, that we'll have that presence on Broadway. The anticipated date of opening looks closer to the end of spring, beginning of summer, just with construction and permits and all of that. I hope to have 4 PTs there, because that's what it fits, and that's what would make the place running smoothly. So having said that, a lot of our patients that are here, not a lot, some of our patients that are here live up in that area, so they're going to naturally gravitate to a place that's closer to their home. So we may lose some of our current patients to that new location, and that's just one of the reasons why also I opened it so close, so that we can start drawing from our current patients to there. So having said that, one of the things that I don't want 4 brand new PTs there, because that doesn't make sense for the continuation of our systems and our care here. So I would like at least 1 PT from here working there. And instead of me handpicking somebody, I invite the PTs to, apply if you would like to work there versus here. One of the other things that is needed at that location is a clinical director, because Ogechi will be here clinical directoring and someone needs to be there. And she is not going up there. So that's something to consider if you'd like to be on the leadership team as part of the opening of the new location. The other thing is that we'll also need aides there, obviously, and I'd like some experienced aides from here to be up there as well, so that it's not all brand new faces for our patients. So if any aides are interested in working up there because the commute is closer to your homes, or you just want to see daylight during the day, I welcome you to let me know via email if you have an interest. Again, it's more closer, realistically, end of spring, beginning of summer is when it would be open. Okay? Does anybody have questions about the new location?
So you said there's going to be 4 therapists total there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 4. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. Next. Thank you, Cheryl. So let's talk about the new year and the past year. So we're gonna talk about 3 categories. What we're gonna continue, what we wanna stop, and what we wanna start. So let's talk about continue. This is an interactive meeting, by the way, so need all your input. Continue. I want you all to tell me what you felt, what's working well that we should protect. So in the past year, what should under no circumstances be changed because it's working well and we should protect it at all costs? Yes, Ogechi.
I think we should continue coming to work with a smile on, continue having fun while we're here, continue loving what we do, and just making, because that makes your day easier and thus makes the patient's life easier, so just continue smiling and being happy.
How do we protect that?
We protect that by not putting so much, not being selfish and not putting so much on your coworkers so they have to pick up the slack. So understand that we are a team, right? And just continue working and operating as a team, as a unit.
I like that. Anything else that we should continue doing?
I think, like with the focus on the transitions, so having the aides come to the PTs kind of around the end time of the end treatment time for the transition. I think that's really been good, and it's made the transition like noticeably smoother.
So we should protect that.
Yeah.
How do we protect that?
Just emphasizing like once it's near the time, just have the aides come to the PTs, and even if the PTs are gonna still be with the patient for a couple minutes, just like hang out in the general area.
So in other words, awareness at all times of what's happening on the treatment floor, even if you're not actively working as an aide at the time.
And I would say like vocalizing when you're setting someone up and versus when you set someone up. Because sometimes I feel like, sometimes people are great and they can set up multiple hot packs or they're setting up multiple patients, but then sometimes a patient gets lost or there's just then a bunch of people just hanging around chilling when, you know, one person could dictate, oh, I'm gonna go set up this person, then I'm gonna go to this therapist or XYZ. And that's just easier on that one person setting up everyone, and it's better just managed, I think.
How do we protect that?
I think just verbalizing when you're setting someone up, who you're setting up, and then what you're doing.
Communication. So, lack of selfishness, communication, awareness. Those are three things that we should really focus on protecting. Because with those three things, everything else falls into place, right? You have respect for one another, you have communication with one another, it's a happy environment, things are going smoothly, there's lack of chaos. Those are great. Good. I like it. What should we stop? What feels inefficient, frustrating, or unnecessary? Dun, dun, dun.
There's a lot of excuses, I've noticed. So we have to stop giving excuses. I can speak specifically for the aides. Oh, I can't stay late to do this, but then you want other perks, right? Or, oh, no, I can't come in at this time, but you want raises. Like, just, the excuses have to stop.
I have one.
Yep.
If a patient doesn't show up, granted, we do try to catch in the 15-minute grace period if someone doesn't come. But if you realize your patient is not here and it's beyond the 15, just ask the front desk so we can like say, yeah, we spoke to them, no, we did it, because emailing or calling someone an hour later saying, hey, you were scheduled at 10:30, now it's 11:30, it looks real messy when we could have called within the 15-minute span, move them down 30 minutes later, whatever the case may be. But like I said, we try our hardest to catch, but most of them are normal people, so they'll just walk to the back, and they won't speak or on the phone, head down writing, so we don't catch everyone. We do try, that is our job, to catch and notify the 15-minute grace period, but you know, things do happen, and right now it's the beginning of the year, we're verifying, so a lot of the times we are not catching everyone coming in, and like, it looks bad calling them an hour later versus calling within the 15-minute grace period. So if you just notice they haven't came in, you can put their name with a question mark and we'll know why you're asking. But having to ask an hour later when we're just checking to see if someone was checked in or if they were paid, did they copay, it's just, it negates just calling them so last minute or hours later about an appointment that was hours ago.
So communication.
Yeah.
I'm sensing a theme. Okay, good. Hmm?
In terms of, I guess, more frustrating, I know that obviously we want our schedules to be as full as possible, but when there's like multiple evals back to back, it's very draining for the PTs and also like makes time management much more challenging. As opposed to like if you have an eval and then you have a patient who starts on heat, you have like a little bit of more of a buffer. So if we could try to avoid like directly back-to-back evals with scheduling, I think all the PTs would appreciate it.
just in regards to that, just because I'm trying to sometimes there's no space for someone to be in between, so would you rather us not book someone at all? Just because I am a person who is gonna maximize, making sure your schedule is full as possible. So would the go-to be to put it on someone else? Or how would we put someone in between, especially the way it's working is like 30 minutes or an hour? And there's 3 hours. I think you had this actually, it was 3 people back to back to back. Would you just rather us not book you? Does that make sense?
Well, I guess like in the chronology of what happens, right, like one eval is there first, and then like determining where the next eval goes, like it would be better if it wasn't, like let's say you have an eval at 1, and then you have like open slots from like 2 to 4. My preference would be like, if there's another eval that wants to come in, it'd be at 2:30.
So leave space in
So
between.
like, and then like potential space for a follow-up. I get that if it's like day of and you have that like double space available, like it makes sense to just fill it. But if it's like not day of, then I think like it would make our lives easier to like leave that slot open for like a existing patient.
But I will say, obviously, like, from a leadership and a PT standpoint, I understand the gripe with that, but as Jenny always says, like, if your schedule's full, you're not gonna have evals, which is true. And especially in the last, like, 2-3 weeks, we've lost so many patients due to the holidays, so there were so many gaps in. So people are trying to either A, finish out their Medicare, their deductible has been met, let's do as much as we can, let's go into PT now, or B, they hurt themselves while they're away. So there's no happy medium with it. If the availability's there, they're gonna take the availability.
I was also gonna say,
No, but I'm saying like there's availability there, and it could either like it could either be like you're putting them in from 2 to 3 or 2:30 to 3:30, and if you have that option,
But then you still, that means from 2 to 3:30, I mean, from 2 to 2:30, you still have an opening and someone can't, what if you're?
But she's
No,
okay with a
no,
follow-up in
no,
there.
okay.
yeah.
No,
I'm
she-
saying, I'm
it
saying
says
like
the
if
two
you're
evals
gonna,
back
if
to
you're gonna
back.
put a follow-up
Yeah.
either between 2 evals or after 2 evals,
She'd rather in
then
between the
I
2
think in
evals.
between is
Yeah.
preferable.
She had started that by saying that. And just to, I'm not a fan of the back-to-back evals, and in general have said that I'm not crazy of doing that on the PT schedule. So over the last couple of weeks, I'm only gonna speak on the last couple of weeks because I noticed that it happened quite often over the last couple of weeks. I questioned every single one of the back-to-backs, and there was a legitimate reason for each one of them. That's the only thing that I can say, I don't wanna say as an excuse, but the reasoning behind of why it happened recently. Every single back-to-back, I questioned every single, I asked the front desk, why are these back-to-back? Why are there's 2? There's an opening literally at the next therapist over,
Yeah, no.
slide it over, but it was like, well, this person is DA, so can't see so-and-so. This person requested Shoshana, so it could only be on your schedule, and your next eval opening is next week. So it was like, there was a reasoning for almost, I won't say 100%, because I never say 100% on anything, but for almost every one of them that have been back-to-back recently, there was a valid reason for it. But now that we've said it out loud and communicated it, the ladies will be much more aware, but I think that I don't think they were purposely
no, I was
done.
gonna say, we understand, nobody wants that back to back, so we don't do it in the sense of like, oh, like, that's just what it is. It really do be on some like, I can only do 11:30, I can only do this time, and then it's like, okay, that's all we have, and like how Jenny said, the next one will be next week. So it doesn't be on some like, if we can put it somewhere else, we'll offer them multiple eval spots, we'll start with what makes more sense for you guys, but if they don't want that, we're not gonna take it as, no, we're not gonna book you at all, book you next week, we're gonna book them in, because Jimmy's gonna ask, why did you not put the empty spot, versus saying, it's because it was back to back, that's not gonna be a valid enough reason to not book them, because of, it was just back to back. But we really understand that we try not to maximize more than 3 or put it back to back, because I understand it's an hour back to back, so I get that. But it, like I said, last 2 weeks have really been on some only can fit there or requesting, or it's something that really puts it just for that. It's not on, we just chose because we wanted to give you 3 back to back.
There wasn't any 3 back to back.
No, but like,
I was like,
but it was a lot, yeah.
You got something.
Yeah,
They
it
did
was
back to back and then a
Yeah.
third later on.
Yeah, it was a lot. It's been a lot lately. I will say it's been a lot of back to
You had 3
back.
back to back?
Yeah, she did,
Only once, like,
yeah.
Oh, I missed that. Was that,
It
was,
was
I was away.
Hey, no, I was with that.
What?
I was with that.
But yeah, we'll try to be more
Yeah.
mindful of that going forward.
So, can't 100% say that we're going to stop that, but I can 100% say that they're gonna be more aware of it, so, cause yes, that can be very frustrating. What else?
I have a-
Yeah,
When it comes to authorizations, please be mindful when especially for Optum, they will deny very quickly. So when the patient's filling out their portion, just check to see what they're putting for their numbers, because if they're feeling better or they're putting no pain, they will be denied. And then doing a peer-to-peer, they wanna state that you let them put, they have no pain. So I know they fill it out, but before you bring it to the front, just make sure it aligns correctly, because there's been times where I have to ask them, Getty, should I still submit it with it saying they have no pain? And I have a lot to submit, so I can't every time check to see the numbers, because that's you guys' job to make sure. I'm just submitting based on what you guys put on the paper. But I'm gonna make sure, because I know what's supposed to be there, but it makes it hard to submit right away when I have to figure out if this is the correct information or not. And just be sure to also put them away at the end of the night. Or if it's an eval and they have off, don't put it together in the packet. Separate the off and put it in the to fact or to do folder, because that's where I check to find my off. If Ashley puts away the paperwork for the eval, I look in the folder. So if it's not in the folder, I have to go search and see where it's going. So just separate the eval's paperwork versus the off, and put the off where it goes to facts or to do based on the insurance.
that makes sense.
And aides, please, if you see, when you're taking the paper, when you're taking the flow sheet and it's clipped, search through and make sure it's not authorization paperwork, because we've been missing paperwork. Most patients get heat in the beginning or some type of modality or at the end. Make sure that the patient gets their authorization, please.
Anything else before we move on to what we should start? Okay, what should we start? What's one thing we can do better this year? Communication. What can we do better? Nothing? Yeah.
This is like a personal thing for me, but I think between the relationships between the aides and the PTs, maybe, I don't know where everyone else wants to go in the next step, but me personally, like, I enjoy PT. I would like to see myself as a PT one day, and I think if there was a little bit more initiative on teaching the aides, you know, like explaining to them, you know, I'm not saying that like they don't explain to us what we're doing, but just if there was more of an emphasis on teaching and learning, like the difference between why we're doing an ER at 45-degree angle as opposed to a 90-degree angle, or why we're doing stuff unilaterally or bilaterally. You know, just like a little bit more of like a learning experience here, I think would help out the people that want to take the next step, and honestly motivate more people. Me personally, that's how I feel.
That's a great suggestion. I'm going to counter that suggestion with another suggestion. The PTs, I'm gonna speak on your behalf, are very open to explaining everything. However, they're not gonna explain every single thing every time. But if you have questions, If you ask them questions, they will answer every single question.
And guys, I love you guys. That is not me saying you
No,
guys don't.
right.
Because you know I will ask questions
Yeah.
all day.
But
I
that's
love you.
okay. That's okay. But that's okay.
It's just like,
But that's okay.
I think if it's more of like a friendly environment, like to learn and to teach, like everyone would be more
Correct.
encouraged, like you
But
do a better job.
I'm gonna show you a scenario, right? Like a PT is handing over the flow sheet and there's 10 exercises on here, right?
Mhm.
And the PT is like, okay, we're gonna do, ER of the TheraBand because of blah, 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 blah. We're gonna do, lumbar roll, blah, 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 blah. And we're gonna do this because of the. You can't do that because
Right.
then we'll spend the whole session just doing that. But if you're looking at it like afterwards, if you're like, why did we do external rotation of the shoulder when it's a knee patient,
Mhm.
right? Like, you know what I mean. But if you have questions, all the aides, if you have questions, ask the PTs, 100%. This is supposed to be a learning experience for you as well. But the PTs just can't sit there and explain every single exercise or every reasoning, because that's what we'll be doing the whole time. But if you have questions, I welcome you to ask them.
And I understand that there's a sense of burnout too from the PTs. Like you guys deal with some type of people, right? Like we all see it. We go through it as well.
Don't say
And-
any names. It's
No, no.
being recorded.
No.
So.
And I think it's also like on the aides, myself included, it's like take initiative. Like if we want to learn, we have to, closed mouths don't get fed. You gotta ask yourself. Like we have some patients here, like we all have the recurring thing where it's like a patient's like, oh, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Oh, why this? And it's like as an aide, sometimes like we try to explain, but then we also know where to set the boundary. And it's like ask the PT. And sometimes me personally, I feel bad because it's like I feel like I should be knowledgeable enough in the field to explain why you're doing this as an aide.
So when that's happened, have you asked the PT?
Yeah, most of the time. But like, later on in the day, like, hey, why do we do this? Or like, what are we doing here? And in the moment, you gotta be, like, we'll talk about it later, or maybe you can ask the PT in
Yeah.
your next session. But yeah, it just
Because the questions are repetitive.
Mhm.
What patient X asks you about this certain exercise, patient A, B, C, and D is gonna ask you the same exact question. So if a patient asks you and you don't have the answer right then and there, but then later you ask the PT and they give you the explanation, when patient A, B, and C then asks you, you'll then have the ammunition to answer them. But again, like I said, there's no way the PTs are gonna be able to explain every single exercise with every patient every time. That there's just not enough time for that, but I encourage you to ask whatever questions you want of the PTs, and I'm sure they'll be happy to answer.
I think also like you need to have everybody should have like a better like sense of confidence because typically we have similar exercises and you guys do the same ones or a lot of the same ones all the time and knowing that you know the exercise and being confident I think is very validating and then we'll just kind of re-implement or validate that you do know what you're talking about. You don't know all the nitty-gritty stuff, but like it's much easier to then tell the patient what they're doing right or why they're doing it because you know not everything, but the good stuff.
Sure.
And I just want to double back on what Danny said. Confidence is a big key because I remember working at my old PT clinic. I wasn't really as confident until PT said you have to be confident in what you're saying. Like for example, I was working with a patient and I was trying to show him a stretch and I told him that's not this right way to do the stretch and he did it incorrectly. And PT corrected him along the way and it made me realize like what I said was correct and the patient did say, oh well, she did tell me the right thing. So confidence is one of the things and just to add on to what Joe said, like for example, I would ask all the therapists know, like I would ask them, hey, this exercise, I just want to double check. Or if I just want to know, like on lumbar, whatever, hey, how do I relieve pressure on this and that? Or Shoshana actually tells us, hey, this patient is here for evaluation. What exercise do you think would work? Or which exercise wouldn't work? And it helps, like I know Andrea and I actually,
It's like actually brainstorm, like
exactly. Yeah, like it helps us to like, okay, this exercise would work for them and this exercise wouldn't work for them. you know, it's something exactly. It helps us along the way, especially if you want to pursue that field. Yeah.
Yes.
One thing, I feel like also like piggybacking off what Cheryl said, about the confidence, like confidence even if you don't know it. I think that's the biggest thing too, because I feel like even like I feel like obviously like when I started like I wasn't like super confident being like I don't know, but especially in front of the patient, I've seen sometimes like if the aide like is just like in the middle of it and they don't know what the exercise is, they're like, oh, like they like just like say the name of the exercise and like they're like, okay, let's do it, and like they kind of like it's kind of like all like waiting for the patient to like kind of be like, all right, like know what to do. But obviously like you as the aide, like you're supposed to lead. So I would say like even if you know, I know we're not supposed to do this, but like I'm saying, even if you have to step away, ask somebody, like be confident enough to be like, okay, just give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Like I've, you know, like in like a tough time, like I've had to do that. Like if I really, really didn't know, I had no idea where to go, like I'm not just gonna like stand there and like be like, oh, like we're gonna do this one and like kind of just like wait a little bit, like then that's, I feel like confidence in that situation I feel like is super important too.
They'll lose all faith in you,
Yeah.
right? Like,
You can suss it out pretty quick.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Yeah, on that point, I had a patient recently who like told me she felt like an aide was not explaining the correct exercise, and when she like kind of like pushed back on the aide and was like, that's not what we did last time, she said the aide she was working with was like, okay, we'll just skip that one for today. That should not be the response. If there are any like PTs available not working with a patient, like even if it's not their patient, they probably know what the exercise is, so you should definitely ask us. And then like if it says NT on a flow sheet, that doesn't mean that they're never supposed to do it again. That just means that day they didn't do it. I've seen it happen a few times where a patient has been like, oh, did you want me to stop doing this exercise? And I'm like, no, I just thought like, I see NT, and to me I think that patient has to leave early or didn't get through everything. And they're like, no, we had time, they just told me I'm not doing it anymore. So I just like think it's really important that we all know what all the indications on the flow sheet means. My understanding is that NT means we just didn't do it today, but it is still a part of the regular program.
When an exercise is no longer going to be done with a patient ever again, what aids, what is written in the box?
DC and attached.
So only if it says DC is it not ever going to be done again, okay? Yeah, NT is just not today, that day, or that the day before or whatever, but DC means discharged, okay? That exercise is discharged. Is that clear? Mm-hmm.
I just want to say just something that I know that we're working on, but just to kind of vocalize it to help the aides as well, that can help the confusion, knowing the exercises and all of that is, as best as we can, trying to streamline the terminology that we use, so we're not calling the same exercise 6 different things. So it's like even if an aide hasn't worked with my patient before, they should be able to pick up my flow sheet and know my exercises. Like I shouldn't have to train them on. You know, of course there are going to be some specialized ones, but like there are some exercises that have like 5 or 6 different things. So if we could just continue what we're already doing and communicate so that we can make it as easy as possible, because you guys do a lot. So anything that we can do to help.
Good. All right. Those are all great things that we're going to start.
I'm sorry, I have one.
Oh, yes. Yeah, no, I love it.
It's for the flow sheets. I don't know if it's really the aides or the PTs. If your patient has 2 body parts, just be mindful on what you're working on for that day. Because not many times, about 2 times, I had to reconcile with Ogechi because I'll be doing my visit count and then I'll realize that I'll see the date on 2 flow sheets. So then I have to go to the patient navigator and really see which date they were actually, which body part they were seen for. And the last time we reconciled, it was so confusing where one mistake led to 3 different dates being on the wrong flow sheet because they were following the wrong flow sheet. So if you know they're coming for their back, just make sure, and we highlight on the top. We'll put 2 conditions, we'll put the name of the body part on each flow sheet and we'll highlight it. If they're coming for their back, just be mindful when you write in your program or your exercises for the day, it's for the back flow sheet. Because one off count it will spiral down. And then we have to white out the flow sheets and we'll do a new flow sheet. And then we have to count each visit on each flow sheet. So when I'm counting to make sure they're at their correct count, I get confused. I don't know exactly which body part, because it'll be like December 2nd on both flow sheets. So I don't know which body part was really seen on December 2nd when they both have written notes and signed on it. So just be mindful on exactly what body part you're working on for that day.
The flow sheet is part of their official medical record. So if you have the same date of service for 2 different body parts, that's a denial right then and there. So make sure that what's on the flow sheet, I know it's handwritten, but it's official medical record. So it gets submitted to the insurance companies.
And if any of your patients have any questions about any insurance, please direct them to us. Like whether they can come in for different body parts, whether they need authorization, whether they need, how many visits do I have left, do I have to buy this, do I have to buy that? Like, you can just direct them to us. I'm not saying I'll try to like give them information, but just have them come to us so they can get accurate information, and if we don't have to backtrack and get authorization and get denied or da.
Anything else?
So we find the thief.
Huh?
We find the thief. Sorry.
Find the thief.
Yeah.
We didn't find the thief.
No, wait.
Today security cameras are being installed in the staff lounge, so. If we haven't yet, but if hopefully no more occurrences happen, but if any more occurrences happen, it'll be on record and it'll be handled accordingly. I have no tolerance for it. I have empathy for a lot of things. Theft is not one of them, and so it'll be handled with the authorities, not with me. Okay, moving on. That was awkward. No, it's not, but I had explained it all in the email. That's why I'm not bringing it up now. I don't think that we should waste more time on something that really should have never happened to begin with. And I nipped it in the bud, and it's done. And any next steps will be with the authorities. Okay. Lost my train of thought. Okay. So all good ideas, all wonderful things. This is our focus. So for the next few minutes, I want to turn our focus to our OKRs. You guys remember those goals that we had set forth several months ago? We were tracking them on a weekly basis. Yes.
What's okay?
Yeah, so remember those goals? I'm gonna hand them out now. We were tracking your visit frequency, your clinical efficiency on a weekly basis. Yeah, all the metrics that, and trying to hit certain goals. So the end of the fourth quarter is done, and now we're starting a new quarter. So I printed up the results of the fourth quarter. So I'm gonna hand those out now. So I'll put one stack this way. Everybody take one. Take one for myself. So hand out, hand this way, hand this way, hand this way. Take one each. And then you need an extra one. They're all the same.
They're all the same. Oh.
They're all the same. They're all the same. Take one. Literally the directions. Take one. This is the second one. So take one of this. So one says Mikas in the column, and one says Jenny in the column. That's how you know it's a different one.
This one is the same, now we're getting.
Now you're getting the second one. Here. So one says Mikas, one says Jenny.
Oh, I just noticed this also zero and stuff.
They're extra. They're extras.
Because you're slightly more focused. The ball pass.
So everybody should have one that says Jenny and one that says us is our Q4 goals that we were targeting. And the ones that really were being targeted by you guys were the prescription rate, right? That was a successful rehab plan that we were working on. And the visit frequency. So if you look on the bottom, key result number 3, to increase the clinical efficiency to 90%. We didn't hit that goal. Our average was 81% for clinical efficiency. That's that line on the weekly wrap up. And then for the 3 sub-metrics underneath there, line item 1 and 3, which is increase the prescription rate to 2.3 for all the PTs. The average that we hit was 1.98. So that means when you are doing your successful rehab plans with your patients, on average, you prescribed less than twice a week. Okay? Because some were 1 time a week, some were 3 times a week, so it averaged out to 1.98. This is over the course of 13 weeks of the 4th quarter. Same thing for the weekly visit frequency. Our goal was to hit 1.8, which means that you see your patients at least 1.8 times a week. Our average was 1.4, which meant that our patients were seen between 1 and 2 times a week. In order for number 3 to go up, number 1 has to go up. What happens is if you prescribe twice a week to a patient, when they cancel 1 appointment, the likelihood of them rescheduling or having the ability to reschedule diminishes dramatically, so they end up being seen 1 time a week, which is how that average goes down. If you prescribe 3 times a week, yay, a lot of patients will be seen 3 times a week, but a lot of patients will also cancel or miss 1 time a week. And if they can't reschedule that appointment, they'll still have 2 times a week already on the schedule. So if you want your visit frequency to go up, the prescription rate has to go up. The majority of our patients, the majority, will very much benefit from being seen 3 times a week. Will very much get better from being seen 3 times a week. And if they're not seen 3 times a week, they're at least being seen twice a week. They scheduled 3 times a week, missed or canceled one of those, so it went down to twice a week, so they're at least being seen twice a week. When you see a patient 1 time a week for a general orthopedic condition, the likelihood of them getting better within 8 to 12 weeks diminishes dramatically. And if you don't believe me, I've got about 10 studies that I can send to you. Both old studies and current ones. The research is out there. You can't deny it. The more frequently you see someone, the more likely they'll get better. Why does a professional football player get back on the field so quickly? Because he was seen twice a week? He was seen every day, multiple times a day. My daughter broke her ankle. She got out of the boot. I did her PT 3 times a day, every day. And guess what? She was back on the soccer field like nothing happened. It makes a big difference. So, increasing the prescription rate will increase your visit frequency. There's no denying that those two are interrelated. You are the prescribers. They are looking to you for guidance. You need to explain to them why you want to do this and what the difference will be. They also want to know what's going to happen. So they come in on Tuesday, their next appointment's on Thursday. On Tuesday, let them know what's happening on Thursday when they come in. That will increase their chances of coming in and not forget. We've implemented Shoshana's suggestion of they get text reminders now the day before their appointment. So the likelihood of them forgetting has diminished dramatically, right? Guys, we haven't had any, oh, I forgot, since we've implemented the text reminders. So that's off the table, so that's great. So let's get them scheduled, okay? So if we go to the next paper, which is MICAS, this is our goals for the first quarter of 2026. So over the course of the next 13 weeks, this is what we're going to be tracking. They're all similar to what was on last quarter, with the addition of one thing is I'm going to look at hitting the arrival rate at a 93% target, okay? Right now, we're hovering around 82-83% of arrival rate. So that arrival rate will improve if you talk about the goals for the next visit. It's more likely that they'll come in at their next visit because they'll be excited about what you have planned for them next time. They'll be excited about next week's visit because you're gonna add X, Y, and Z. So if you're continuously talking about what the changes are going to be made over the next several weeks, over the next several visits, it'll keep them engaged and want to continue to come in and reach those goals with you. So I kept the prescription rate at 2.3 because we didn't hit it last quarter, so we're gonna try and hit it this quarter. I kept the visit frequency goal at 1.8, so we didn't hit it, so we're gonna try and hit it. But I added the arrival rate target to 93%. You can see all those numbers on a weekly basis in your weekly wrap up to see how their numbers are fluctuating, okay? Any questions on that? No. Okay, if we can give 2026 one word description, what would it be?
Chocolate. Sean was so free this week.
Yeah, I don't know why it says 23%. Somebody else.
Wait, where do you see 23%?
That only 23% of the quarter we sold.
That's
We
your
sold
shot at
chocolate
23.
every week. The goal is to hit 3 a week.
The goal was to hit 3, so we only did that 23% of the time. Yeah, I mean, the numbers don't lie. It looks like, right? You're like, I sold so many, but when you track it on a weekly basis, we only hit 3. I listen, super grateful for all of it, but like the target, which was 3, was only hit 23% over the last one. But it was the beginning. Like last quarter, those were all our changes. Q4 was a ton of changes. Q1 2026 is we did all the changes. Now we're gonna implement them. Okay. So give me not chocolate. Give me one word to describe what 2026 is gonna be.
Communication.
Communication.
Awareness.
Awareness.
Accountability.
Accountability.
Oh, I like that.
I like that too.
Beyonce.
Beyonce.
Uptown.
Uptown.
New beginnings.
New beginnings. Beautiful. Oh.
Exercise. Bowling.
What?
Bowling.
Bowling. When you're bowling, you're hitting all your goals, right? Growth. Oh, communication. We said it already. Cheryl.
Success.
What?
Success.
You all heard it, right? You all heard what I heard. Woo! Learning.
Efficient.
Efficient. Encouragement.
Great.
Great.
Prosperity.
Prosperity.
No, because you're all looking at me.
Because you're next.
I have my word, I lost it.
Okay.
We'll just pile them.
Yeah. Ashley. Wonderful. Last chance, Jazz.
You said pause. Pause. You said pause.
She said what? Positive. Oh, they said pause. Oh, positive. Yes, I'm sorry. I heard pause. I'm like, okay, we can pause. Positive. I love it. Okay. Guys, thank you. Next one is going to be next month, where we'll talk about more of this implementation of all these goals. PTs, if you're interested in the clinical director position at the new clinic, please email me. If you're interested in working there, please email me. AIDS, if you're interested in working there, email me. AIDS, I'm going to be sending out an email to all of you. We're going to be making some changes based on attendance and accountability and changes, so look out for my email. Once I send an email, I want a response that you got it. And yeah, thanks guys.
Saturday.
And Saturday.